We are going to start class, and you all are most welcome in this session. Right. So the last discussion was about chromosome, and in this regard, we have discussed about 23 pairs of chromosome. This is original composition and any changes like +1 or -1 leads to genetic syndrome. Yes, everyone. The writing is not visible. The writing is not visible. So please. Okay, right. Fine. So see what we have done. Let me come to the discussion. What we have done so far. So in the last discussion, what we have done, we have discussed about chromosome. Yes, I am just summing up what we have discussed in the last lecture, last 20 minutes lecture. I am just summing up so that you feel comfortable, right? I told you now, when we talk about human, we have 46 number of chromosomes which occurs in 23 pairs. Clear? Which occurs in 23 pairs. Fine. And this is fixed. Clear? And any variation like +1, -1, any variation leads to genetic syndrome. Fine. And the genetic syndrome, in this context, we have discussed so many examples like here Downs syndrome, Turner syndrome, Klinefelter syndrome. Right? Fine. Okay. So this was the last discussion. And I am just concluding this last discussion. So see, now this 46 chromosomes. We are going to discuss this 46 means how we are going to get this 46 chromosomes that we are going to discuss in the present lecture, in the current lecture, right? And the 46 chromosome is 23 pairs, and out of the 23 pairs, I told you in the last lecture, out of 23 pairs, this 23 chromosome is from father and 23 chromosome from mother. Fine. So listen, let me show you arrangement of this chromosome. This is the arrangement of chromosome. This is the arrangement of human chromosome, and you see here, this starts from the chromosome number 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, till the 23 pairs. Total 23 pairs of chromosome we could see. this is the first position of chromosome, and in this first position of chromosome, one is from the mother and the second is from the father. Fine. Like the same, at every position we are going to get one mother, one father. Fine. Means see this out, and I told you the source of chromosome is what? It's a mother's egg, 23 chromosomes, and the father is sperm, 23 chromosomes, which leads to 23 pairs. That will become 46 chromosomes. Fine. So I am just repeating the previous discussion. And at this 23rd position, in the case of male, this chromosome is XY, while in the case of female, this chromosome is XX. So the female composition is 44 plus XX, and the male composition is 44 plus XY. So this was the discussion, this was the last discussion that we did in last lecture. Right? Now, coming to the syndromic conditions, means we have discussed about the 3 syndromic conditions. Apart from these 3 syndromic conditions, we have n number of syndromic conditions. For the perspective of exam, we need to consider max to max these 3 examples, right, that already we have quoted in the last lecture. But let me show you once again so that you feel comfortable, right? So see here, listen, this is the case of Down syndrome. This is the case of Down syndrome. I am just showing this Down syndrome here. This is the case of Down syndrome. And in the case of Down syndrome, there is a one extra chromosome at 21st position. And I told you one extra that make a sense of trisomy. One extra is trisomy and one less is monosomy. So see here, at every position, this baby has paired chromosome from mother and father. But if you just look at this 21st position of chromosome, this 21st position of the chromosome has, see, 1, 2 and total 3 chromosomes. Means, full milake total as usual here, the number of chromosome is what? It's a 1 extra at the 21st position of chromosome. Clear? And that we named it as a Down syndrome, or the same is called as the Mongolian syndrome. Fine? So here the common, somebody asked in the last lecture, somebody asked about the common symptom of Down syndrome. Fine, that is not required for you, but even I mentioned here the common symptom would be this is the mental retardation and a brush-filled spot in eyes, we could see here. Clear? Congenital heart disease, this baby will suffer from the congenital heart disease, and even there could also be the chance of leukemia by birth. Means this baby is completely abnormal since birth because of one additional chromosome which is added naturally, right? So this is that is the case of Down syndrome. Means the syndromic baby is completely abnormal. And here this one extra addition of chromosome is at the 21st position. This one extra or one deletion, this can take place at any position. That could be the position number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 till 23. But now this is the common syndromic condition. That's why we are just talking about. And this is what it's a Down syndrome. Means one extra chromosome at 21st position will always be considered as the Down syndrome. Right? Okay. Like the same, I told you in the case of female, there could also be the chance of the Turner syndrome. And usually, even I told you in the last lecture, The female condition is what? It's a 44 plus XX. And in female, if one X is lost, if this X is lost, means it's a minus X. So here the female would be what? It's a 44 plus X. Means total condition is what? The total number of chromosomes is 45. So see, the total number of chromosomes is 45 and it is monosomic. Means minus 1 of what? X chromosome, which is mentioned here. And this is named as Turner syndrome, which is named as XO. O means absent. Here, this position is absent. And this is the position of the X chromosome. Fine. So, here, the simple condition is what? Loss of one X chromosome. That leads to sexual abnormality in the case of female. And here, the streets gonad means underdeveloped gonads, then webbed neck, or even just as a whole. See here, this is the infantile genitalia, means this female is sexually sterile, underdeveloped sexual ability. This female has underdeveloped sexual ability, means this female will not be able to lead normal sexual cycle just because the sexual part is underdeveloped because of the loss of one X chromosome, and this is by birth. Fine, okay. Plus one means one extra chromosome. Minus 1 means one that chromosome is less. Right? Plus 1, that make a sense of chromosome is added. And that we are not adding. This addition is natural. This addition is natural at the time of fertilization. And I will let you know how exactly it is going to be done. And I will let you know. And one deletion is what? That is the one chromosome is lost at the time of fertilization. That is the natural process. Right? That we are not involved in this process of the addition or deletion of chromosome. Rather, this addition or deletion is what? It's a completely natural. That's why the frequency of the syndrome is what? That is probably the frequency is 1 out of 1 million. Because this is the abnormal condition. These are the abnormal conditions, and the abnormal conditions are always exceptional because of the fault. So the probability of the fault is usually, it's 1 out of 1 million. Fine? Okay. Now, yes, Sadhana. Right. While in the case of Klinefelter syndrome, you see here, in the case of Klinefelter syndrome, you see at this position of the male, 1x is extra. 1x is extra, and that is what? It's a 44 plus. It's a 44 plus usually xy, but here 1x is extra. So the total number of chromosome is what? It's a 47, and here it's a 47 plus double xy, means it is trisome. It is trisome. Fine? And this is the sexual abnormality. It's a syndromic condition of the sex chromosome. So here again, abnormality of the sexual activities, and here it's a hypogonadism and a gynecomastic condition, that is the male with the feminizing character. We could see the breast development in the case of male. Mild mental retardation, usually not diagnosed until after puberty. Means here we are going to get underdeveloped sexuality in male because of this one extra chromosome. Yeah, this could be possible because of the male and the female. Yes, this could be possible because of the male and female. Fine. In Turner syndrome, in female, the X chromosome is absent because of the father's sperm or mother's X. That could be because of any factor. That could be because of any factor. Video is stuck. Are you getting my reception properly? Please let me know. Everyone, please reply. Are you getting my reception? Are you getting my reception? Please let me know fast. Right, everyone is getting my reception. Fine. Okay, fine. Right. So just make here one point, how the syndromic condition is going to be done. And the cause of the syndromic condition. The cause of genetic syndrome. This is due to unequal distribution of chromosomes. This is due to unequal distribution of chromosome in gametes. Gametes means sperm and egg, which is followed by fertilization. Suraj Singh, everyone is getting this video properly. So please, this fault is not from my side. You please refresh your app. This is because of internet speed. So just refresh your app and you'll be able to get this video properly. Fine. So this cause is because of the unequal distribution of the chromosome in gametes, which is followed by fertilization. Right? Fine. Like example, usually sperm and the egg has 23 chromosome and the fertilization will become 46 chromosome in zygote, and this condition is normal. But suppose in the abnormal condition, suppose this sperm will have 23 chromosome and this egg will have 23 chromosomes. So the result is what? It's the 45 chromosome in zygote, and the result is syndromic condition. This result is syndromic condition. Fine. So the point is that if the sperm is going to have less than or more than the defined amount of chromosome, means usually the sperm has 23 chromosomes and the egg has 23 chromosomes. But suppose if the sperm is going to have 22 chromosomes or even the sperm is going to have 24 chromosomes, right? And the egg is constant, so the result would be what? It's a 45 or 47, or even the sperm part is okay and the egg is going to have this chromosomal variation, so the result is what? It's a syndromic condition. Fine. So somewhere, if the gametes are going to get this abnormal, number of chromosomes in the process of the gametogenesis, the result is what? It's a syndromic condition. Fine. Okay. I hope you understand. I hope you understand. I hope you understand. Right. Now, listen. So, there's a term like cell division that we are going to apply, this concept we are going to apply in sex determination and zygotic development. In sex determination and zygotic development. Fine. So you must heard about the two different types of cell division, like one is mitosis and the second is meiosis. One is mitosis and the second is meiosis. You must heard about these two divisions, like one is the mitosis and the second is meiosis. Right? That we are going to apply. This mitosis is required for, this is called as somatic division, while this is germinal division or sexual division. This mitosis is required for growth and development, while this meiosis is required in sexual cycle. And the sexual cycle is what? That is menstruation, or even, I'm just writing here, menstruation, I'm just mentioning here, this is menstruation in female, or even spermatogenesis in male. Clear? So the entire menstruation of the female, menstrual cycle of the female is the meiosis cycle. The sperm cycle of male is meiosis cycle. Right? So, since the inception of the life, means from the zygotic condition till the last breath, the entire growth and development is because of the mitosis. Right? While the meiosis is what? It's a sexual cycle that takes place at one stage of the life, and that stage is the sexuality. Fine. And this results into the gametic cells like sperm or even egg cell. So the sperm is the product of meiosis cycle, while the egg is the product of meiosis cycle, and except the gametic cycle, the rest of the means the growth and development of the rest of the body parts are the product of, are the result of the mitosis. Fine? Okay? Fine? So, if we just look at the elaboration of this mitosis and meiosis, see here, this is the difference of mitosis and the meiosis. And this mitosis, one cell with 46 number of chromosomes. It's followed by replication. Replication is what? It's a duplication. So here the chromosome will become 92, and this is followed by division. So the result is what? It's a two cells with the same number of chromosomes. Clear? So in mitosis, one cell, one parent cell will result in two daughter cells. Two daughter cells. Yes, two daughter cells. Okay? Two daughter cells with same number of chromosomes, and this process will continue as a chain reaction. This process will continue as a chain reaction. Fine, this process will continue as a chain reaction. So the entire growth and development is what? The entire growth and development is the product of mitosis, right? Zygote is the first cell of the life, and this zygote is followed by the mitosis, and the result is what? 1 to 2 cells, 2 to 4 cells, 4 to 8, 16, 32, 64, 100, 1000, 10,000, lakhs, millions, and then the baby is going to be developed. The baby is going to be born, and then after the birth of the baby is going to elongate as a result of the growth and development. So the entire process is what? It's a mitosis, nothing else. And this mitosis is also called as what? It's a equational division. This is called as the equational division because the number of chromosomes is similar in the parent cell as well as in the daughter cell. The number of chromosomes is similar in the parent cell as well as in the daughter cell. That make a sense of equational division in the case of mitosis, right? So mitosis is required for growth and development. And in mitosis, one cell results into two daughter cells with the same number of chromosomes. And mitosis is in fact chain reaction. It's a chain reaction where the cells keep multiplying, and as a result of the multiplication of the cells, then what happens? The cell will become tissue, organ system, and the organism. So when we talk about the growth, when we talk about the development, when we talk about the regeneration, when we talk about the repairing, the entire, this entire phenomenon is because of the mitosis, right? So this mitosis results into the growth, repairing, regeneration, etc. Growth, repairing, regeneration, etc. Right? I hope you understand. Coming to this meiosis. Meiosis takes place only in sexual cycle. And in meiosis, one cell with the 46 number of chromosomes will result 4 daughter cells. This will result 4 daughter cells. 1, 2, 3, 4 with half of the number of chromosomes. 23, 23, 23, 22. Clear? So in the case of meiosis, one cell with the 46 number of chromosome, that will result into 4 cells with the 23 number of chromosome. So this is called as what? It's a reduction division. Fine. So if this is sperm mother cell or even egg mother cell, so this will result sperm with the half of number of chromosome. And if this is egg mother cell, this will result egg with half of the number of chromosome. So the sperm and the egg has half of the number of chromosome, This is because of the meiosis. It is because of the meiosis, right? So suppose this is the case of male. If it is the cell of male as a 44 plus X, Y. Fine? So the number of chromosome is going to be half. So this 44 will become 22, 22, 22, 22. This 44 will become 22. While this XY will become plus 1 plus X plus X plus Y plus Y. So in the case of male, there could be the chance of 22 plus X type of sperm or 22 plus Y type of sperm because of the meiosis. Right? Fine. And you see here, this is what? It's an equal distribution of chromosome in sperm. But suppose if it is the case of female, here the condition is 44 plus XX. So here the result would be 22 plus X, 22 plus X, 22 plus X, 22 plus X. So in the case of female, right, there is only one chance, means there is a chance, in the case of female, one type of egg is possible, that is 22 plus X type of egg. Fine? But in the case of male, there could be two possibilities. Fine? Possibility number one is, in the case of male, there could be two possibilities, and the possibility number one is what? Here. This is the possibility number one, that is the X type of sperm, and the possibility number two, that is the Y type of sperm. But in the case of female, there is only X type of sperm. X type of egg. Right? So always sperm and the egg cells have half of the number of chromosome as compared to the rest of the body cells. Sperm and the egg cells have half of the number of chromosome. Clear? And the sperm is either X type of sperm or Y type of sperm. Otherwise, egg is always X type of egg. Is that clear? Please let me know. Yes, please let me know. Right. So let me apply this concept so that you will feel comfortable. Let me apply how this process is going to be done. See, let me apply this concept of meiosis in sexual determination. See, when we talk about this sexual determination, how the sex of the baby is determined. Yes. So, mother and the father. Mother has 44 plus excess number of chromosomes, while the father has 44 plus XY. So this mother will result in egg, while this father will result into sperm. And in the case of mother, there could be only one possibility, and this is what? It's a 22 plus X type. See here, in the case of female, the possibility is 22 plus X type, 22 plus X type, 22 plus X type, 22 plus X type. So in the case of female, there is only one possibility, and that possibility would be 22 plus X type of egg. Right? Number could be variable. And a number, whether it is the 1 or 4. Number, in the case of, if we talk about the number, clear? So, if even there is a 1 egg, so the egg would be 22 plus X, or even 4X. So the nature of egg would be 22 plus X. So the nature of egg is similar, whether it is the 1 or even more than 1. But in the case of male, fine. So the possibility of the sperm could be what? Either X type of sperm or Y type of sperm. This time we are not considering number of gametes or the number of sperm and the eggs. We are just talking about the type. The product would be 4. The one meiosis will result. This one meiosis will result on 4 cells like this. But when we talk about the types, so here it's a one type, it's a second type, but in the case of male, female, there is only one type. So if we are applying this, in this case here, this sperm, it's a 22 plus X type of sperm and 22 plus Y type of sperm. So in the case of female, whether it is the 1 egg or 4 eggs, so the nature of egg would be 22 plus X type, means all eggs are similar, and all eggs are similar, that make a sense of it's a homo, means similar. Gametic. Female is homogametic, means similar egg, but the male is heterogametic, means different. The word hetero means different. The two sperms would be 22 plus X type, and the two sperms would be 22 plus Y type. And then see what is going to be done in the process of fertilization. In the process of fertilization, if this is egg, will fertilize with this sperm. This is what? It's a fertilization. So the result is what? It's a 44 plus XX. zygote and it is female. But if this fertilization is between these two, this egg and this sperm, so the result would be what? It's a 22 plus XY. Yes, and this Y make a presence of what? Male. Y is male chromosome. So here, this baby is one male baby. So the probability of being male and the female is 50-50%. The probability of male and the female is being here. The probability of being male and female is 50-50%, first thing, and the second thing is, 6 of zygote or embryo is determined by male sperm. See, this Y is the symbol of male, and this leads to the maleness in this. So ultimately, male is deciding factor for the deciding factor for the sex of the baby. Right? So the baby's sex is always determined by male sperm, just because of the variation of the sperm. There is a variation in the sex of developing baby. Otherwise, the nature of female egg is fixed as a 22 plus X type. Right? Fine. Yes? Done? Can we go ahead? Yes? Now, see here, there are two cases of twins. Siddhant, hold your question, coming to your point. Twins. There are two twins. One is fraternal and the second is identical. This fraternal twin is non-identical twins, while maternal twins are identical twins. Fraternal twins are non-identical twins. We have two categories. So let me take here the first case as let me take here the first case is the identical twins. See, this egg is followed by one of the sperm. Suppose this is the case of 44 plus XY. This is what? It's a zygote. This zygote is followed by cleavage, splitting. This zygote is cleaved apart into two pieces. See here, into two pieces like this, and both of the pieces have same chromosome. So the both pieces are going to be developed same individual with the same sexuality, 44 plus XY and 44 plus XY. That make a sense of the identical twins. And identical twin means what? Identical twins means there must be the sexual similarity. Because both babies are derived as a result of the division of the zygotic cell, as a result of division of zygotic cell. So one zygote, this is the one zygote, is cleaved apart into two pieces. One zygote is cleaved apart into two pieces, right? And like example, Anna, this is like example, it's a one zygote, and in the process of development, now this one zygote is, and this one zygote has 22 or 44 plus XY or 44 plus XX, and in the process of development, if this one zygote is split apart into two pieces like this, so every piece has same chromosomal composition like 44 plus XY, 44 plus XY. Now this piece is going to develop baby, and this piece is also going to be developed baby. Both pieces are derived from the same zygote, so just because of the common parental material, both zygotes are going to share 100% of gene similarity, and that makes a sense of the identical twins or maternal twins that we could see easily in movies. So when we talk about movies, when we talk about the concept of the twins in movies, it means we are simply talking about identical twins or maternal twins where the sexual similarity is compulsion, fine, and sexual similarity is compulsion, that make a sense of the two Salman Khan, right, or even two Varun Dhawan, or even two Deepika Padukone. That is the great example of identical twins or even maternal twins. Fine. So because of the similar gene sequences, because of the similar genetic material, because both are derived from the same individual, both are derived from the, right, both are the result of the division of the zygotic cells. So just because of the similar genetic material, both are similar in sexuality and both are similar in features. Clear? That is the one case. The second case is what? It's a fraternal twins, and that is the non-identical twin. Means in the same sexual cycle, if the female is going to release egg number 1 and egg number 2, in the same sexual cycle, if the female is going to release 2 eggs at the same time in the same sexual cycle, right? So usually in one menstruation results into one functional egg. Usually that is the normal condition, that is the normal case. But sometimes the entire menstruation is supported by or dependent upon hormones. So sometimes, if by any means, if the female is going to ovulate more than one functional egg, so in that case, right, this the one ejaculation of the male is going to release millions of the sperms. So in that case, what happened when this egg is going to receive the sperm from the male counterpart? So here the nature of sperm could be same as a 22 plus X type, or this could be different as a 22 plus Y type. So in the same sexual cycle, we are going to get two babies, but here sex similarity is not compulsion. Sex similarity is not compulsion, and this is the case of fraternal twins or non-identical twins, right? So in the case of fraternal twins or the non-identical twins, the sexual similarity is not compulsive. One could be male, one could be female, both could be male, both could be female. That depends upon the fertilization. But in the case of identical twins, sexual similarity is compulsory. So these are the two different cases of twins. Fine. Why zygote splits or divide into two? Listen, see, who asked this question? Jitin. Jitin, the entire development of zygote is supported by hormones inside, and the level of hormone is completely dynamic. Fine. The entire development. See, when we talk about the 9 months of the gestation of the baby, clear, the entire 9 months of the gestation of the baby is completely dependent upon mother. Clear. So where this development is going to be done? In the uterus part. Fine. And it is supported by n number of hormones. And the amount of hormone is variable. So at any moment, if the female is going to get the abnormal concentration of hormone, maybe more than what is required, maybe less than what is required, so it is going to affect the nature of the entire development of the zygote. Clear? So in this case, what happened? Just because of the fluctuation of hormones, now this zygote is split apart. Means rather, this zygote is supposed to be followed by mitosis, but just because of the fluctuation, or just because of the abnormality, or just because of the hyper secretion of the hormone, this zygote is split apart into the two pieces, and the result is what? The development of the two individuals independently. So again, this is the exceptional case. That's why we could not see this concept of identical twins normally in nature, in the biological system. This is the rare example. Yes, Maria, the DNA of identical twins are same, and that is the logic behind. We cannot apply in the case of identity just because of the 100% of the gene similarity. We cannot apply the concept of DNA fingerprinting is not applicable. The concept of DNA fingerprinting is not applicable in the case of identical twins just because of the 100% of the gene similarity. Sadhana, both baby feel same thing at the same time. That happens only in the movies. It's all success. Because what we are talking about, the genetic factor. Baby development is not dependent upon the genetic factor. Fine, listen. Now the baby has the similar genetic composition what we are talking about. But apart from, see, then after the 9 months of the development, this baby is going to be born. Fine. Now onwards, after the birth, development of the baby is completely independent process. Means both are not coinciding to each other. Means both the babies are going to be developed independently, because in both of the cases the nutritional requirements are different. In both of the cases the social requirement is different. In both of the cases the surrounding requirement is different. So if the both babies are going to get the different requirements and even both of them have the similar genetic conditions, so we cannot see. We could see similarity, means we could see the characteristic similarity in both of the cases, but it is not like that. If the feeling could be same, or even the gesture could be same in both of the cases, or even the action could be same in both of the cases, right? Because these are completely depending upon the other factors. So these are the fictitious, possible, could be possible, but it's not realistic in the normal way. Jitin, already I replied this answer. Siddhant, I hope you understand. See, listen, hello, Gaurav, please, we are going to discuss fingerprinting. Just hold it. But it is not like that. If you're going to, at any moment, if you're going to feel like I need this explanation, so you're not supposed to ask like this, right? So just hold your question of the fingerprinting, and we are going to discuss this DNA fingerprinting, but that is only after the DNA structure. Then we are going to take this concept of the DNA fingerprinting. So it is not like that we are going to take anything in a random manner. And I told you in the beginning of the class, I told you we are going to discuss everything but the right, but the everything should be in a very systematic manner. It's not a randomized approach we are going to accept in the class. We are going to discuss DNA fingerprinting. It is required this time because we must be knowing about DNA technological bill is already tabled in parliament. So in that context, we are supposed to discuss about the DNA fingerprinting, right? Okay. Can we go ahead? Can we go ahead? Fine. So listen, you see here, this is the female genital part, and this part is what? It's a fallopian tube. This part is fallopian tube. I'm just mentioning it. It's a fallopian tube. And in fallopian tube, this process of fertilization takes place. So the process of fertilization takes place in fallopian tube. Fine, you see here, this is the fertilized zygote, and then this zygote starts moving. See, mitosis starts like this: 1 to 2 cells, 2 to 4 cells, 4 to 8 cells, and then the zygote starts moving here. And you see here, this movement is independent, and here the zygote is going to be attached itself, and the next 9 months this embryonic development is going to be done, and this is nothing but it's a uterus. So the fertilization takes place in fallopian tube, while this embryonic development takes place in the uterus. Clear? Fertilization takes place in fallopian tube, while uterus embryonic development. And embryonic development is also called as gestation, G-E-S-T-A-T-I-O-N. So both are same thing. And human, the gestation period is 36 to 38 weeks. We are exactly in uterus. And the non-technical term for the uterus is W-O-M-B. Womb. Womb is the non-technical term for the uterus.